Hey y'all, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. Welcome to Storytime. Finally, life has been happening. Children are getting sick. I got mom life going on. So this week, I'm gonna try to have 2 story times out in a week to make it up to you guys. I hope you guys don't mind. And today we are talking about something that y'all have been wanting to know about forever and a day. So today's story time is going to be part 1 of a 2-part series about what happened between Alicia, my home skillet biscuit, and I, and you know what happened to that friendship. A lot of you guys want to know, you know, we were so close. We went through a lot together. We were friends for a lot of years. I met her at my shitty school. You guys know this. So a lot of you guys want to know what happened. Like, are you guys still friends? Do you guys still keep in touch? If not, what happened? So today we're going to be diving into that, and I'm going to actually be telling you guys the first part because there were 2 separate instances that Alicia and I kind of had a falling out, and I tried to fix it about a year later, and things continue to happen. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. So I hope you guys are excited. I missed y'all so much. I just missed being down here and just like chilling and talking to y'all. So definitely grab your wine, grab your snacks, grab everything you need. Don't ignore the fact that we got new merch coming out. I did want to just like, you know, do a low-key little plug for y'all. I'm really excited about this. This is one of the projects that David and I have been working on for months and months and months to try to perfect. Okay, I know that this looks real basic, but don't get it twisted. Okay, y'all know I'm not basic. Now the beanies I've been wanting forever with my logo on it, and oh my god, I'm so happy that we finally have them. They're so warm, they're so thick, girl, right on time for fall and winter. Girl, I got you, especially when you have bad hair days. I didn't feel like doing my hair today, so I just put this on. Here is the hoodie, just one of them. I have 3 different designs coming out. 4 different designs coming out. It's one of my faves. So on the front, it has the same type of logo that you guys see on the corner of my videos, but the piece de resistance is when you turn your back, girl. When you turn your back and you're walking away, y'all, cute. Y'all know it's cute. Y'all know it's cute. This whole collection is going to be released on Friday the 13th of September. Okay, so make sure you get your coins ready. This is right on time for, you know, back to school season, for fall season, for winter season, for cuddle up season, for hoodie season. So I got you. Okay, I'm done talking about it. Let's get into today's video. As usual, before we get into today's story time, we're going to go over my Glamour shot of the day. These are my girls, my homies, my home skillet biscuits, my do anything for me, my ride or dies. Send me their Glamour shot via Twitter or Instagram. I do toggle between the 2, but today I picked out my girl from Instagram. She did use her hashtag #GlamourOnShot and did tag me, so I was positive that she was one of my homies. This is my girl. She goes by Smoky Quartz on Instagram. Okay, slay. Here's another one. Okay, do you see the highlight? Do you see it? Y'all gotta stop killing me like this. Thank you so much, girl, for loving me and supporting me and being one of my ride or die Glamazons. I really appreciate it. Thank you for sending me your beautiful Glamazon shot so I can put a face to the name, girl. Thank you guys so much for loving me and supporting me the way that you guys do. You guys know that I would not be here without you, and I could not do this without each and every one of you guys. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. Now let's get into this story time that y'all have been wanting to hear about forever and a day. I have been avoiding this story because, to be completely honest with you, it makes me really sad and it puts me in the worst mood, and I really wish things would have worked out differently because obviously this was my best friend and I had and have a lot of love for her. And also, I just want to say that this story in a nutshell, I feel like is my bad. I feel like I was not a good friend, and because of that I lost Alicia as a friend, and it definitely was a learning experience for me. And even though I lost her as a friend, it's something that I would never do again, and I don't think I would have learned that lesson otherwise. So I'm telling this story so that you guys can heed my warning, be better friends to each other, and really just value your friendships more than I did, because I lost a really good person over my shit. Most of y'all already know my relationship with Alicia. She was like my beacon of hope. She was my light, okay? During my time at my shitty school, she was the person that made it worth going to school. I knew that she always had my back. We were like 2 peas in a pod, okay? You did not see one without the other. Not only was she a big part of my life at school, she was also a huge part of my life outside of school. And she was just extremely talented and funny, and I have all of these great things to say about her. We really just were ride or die for each other. Like, y'all know, like, we literally got into fights together with the other girls, okay? Y'all have heard my stories. So this was my homie, okay? Even after I moved away, we were still best friends. She came to my prom with me. You know, she made fun of old boy for being short. She was very much about serious relationships, whereas I wasn't. And it wasn't because I didn't want to be. It was because like I was just messing with a bunch of like little boys, and I could not get one of them to stick. Alicia actually had been with the same guy since I want to say like 7th or 8th grade, and at that time I didn't know her, but by the time we were in our freshman year, they had been together for a few years, right? And he was in our grade. He was the same age as us, and he was the one that I told you guys was really quiet, and he like did not talk to any of her friends. Like, he was just not a social person. He was the reason why she and I got into that fist fight in the field next to our school. So that's the dude I'm talking about. So she had been with him for years at this point, right? Now let's give him a name, okay? So I forgot what I named him in my previous stories, but we will name him Aaron, okay? So Aaron was her boyfriend. Everything's all good, and we start, you know, seeing those issues, and he was not an honest person. And I had such a bad feeling about him from the beginning, but she had been with him for so long. By the time she and I met, I felt like I didn't really have like a place to be like, girl, your man's a little weird, you know? Not until later when things started coming out. And, you know, he was pretending to tutor, and, you know, he was going missing and she could not find him, and he wasn't texting her back, and all that BS was going on. I knew in my spirit that he was up to no good. So fast forward, okay? And, you know, up until this point, according to Alicia, they had been like rock solid. Like, even though they didn't display the relationship everywhere, they were rock solid. They had been together for years. You know, it wasn't no thing. That was her man's, and it was not even a question. It wasn't until, you know, she started finding out the truth that he was messing around with Trina, whatever, I think that's what I named her. Alicia was absolutely devastated after we had that fight with those other girls, and she found out the real truth about Aaron. She was, you know, as you guys can imagine, she was devastated. And it's one of those moments where, like, as a best friend, you're like, damn, I really did not want to be right. Like, I did not want to be right about this issue. Like, I wanted him to be everything that she wanted him to be, and he wasn't that. I was pissed at him. Like, don't even look my way, because I will throw hands with you. Like, I was so mad at him because Alicia did not deserve that. What I did respect about Alicia was that when she said that she wasn't about that life, like, she was just like me. Like, I'm not about to get cheated on. I'm not about to be lied to. I'm not about to put up with it. A lot of girls say that. God forbid if it happened, they're like, well, I just love him and I'm gonna give him another chance. Not Alicia. Not Alicia. After that happened, that fight happened, I think she was mad at him for just embarrassing her. But for us to have to be physically fighting other girls because of him, I think that's what like sent her over the edge, and she was like, I can't. When Alicia was done, y'all, done. We had that very much in common. We have the gift of goodbye. That's what we call it, is the gift of goodbye. Like, when we are done, all emotions are cut off. Everything 100%. There are no ifs, ands, or buts about it. We ain't gonna talk about it. We're not gonna try to like figure it out. I don't want to hear your side. I don't want to hear you. I'm sorry. Nothing. She cut everything off. She changed her phone number. Y'all, she even changed her email. Okay, she would not even look at him during school. She gave back all of his shit because, you know, she had like hoodies and stuff of his over the years. She gave it all back. So that's where we're at in this story, is she was newly single. This was a very weird thing for her. I have been single, y'all. I have been like, you know, single and then dating a guy for like 2 weeks, and then it didn't work out, and then I'm single and then dating another guy for like 3 weeks. I was one of them, okay? So this wasn't weird. So I was kind of bringing her into my world, which was super weird. And like, having Alicia single, I was really sad for her because she was heartbroken. But then again, part of me was like really happy for her because she was rid of that. You know, she could live her life and not be lied to, and like not have to worry about that type of mess, and not being put in the position to fight other females because your dude don't know how to act, you know. I was happy that my friend was out of that. So it was during this time that Alicia and I were having the most fun that we had ever had, because my best friend was single and she was newly single, and so she was kind of on a mission to get her life back and to be happy. So for the first time, she was willing to come out to football games with me, and she was willing to like go flirt with dudes with me, and like me and my homie were like out there doing it, you know. I don't remember exactly how many months went by from Aaron to this new guy, but it was it was a few months. One day comes around and Alicia starts telling me about this guy that she met that she really likes, and she starts mentioning his name more and more and more. And you know, when that happens, that's because your friend is really starting to fall for this person. Alicia did not fall easily. It was very, very hard for a guy to impress her. She just had her standards and she stuck to them, okay? So for this guy to get through all of that, pretty impressive. Now let's talk about Damien. So Damien was a football player and Alicia and I loved some athletes, okay? Basketball, football, like, yes, girl. I remember the first day that I met him, Alicia was so nervous because I had heard so much about him, but because he was a senior, we literally were not in the same hallways. Obviously, we didn't have any of the same classes. He's like in a whole different world. And the only way that I knew him was from like guys that I was talking to that were upperclassmen. They were like, oh yeah, I know Damien too. So the day finally comes around and Alicia's all nervous and I'm like, girl, I really want to meet him. Like, you're my best friend. Like, I want to know who it is that you're talking to. And she started like getting real deeply involved with him. We're at lunch and she was like, okay, Damien's gonna come in here. He got us lunch. And I was like, sure enough, you know, he shows up with some Chipotle for the both of us, and he comes into the cafeteria, y'all. And when I say this boy was tall, he was tall. Like, and he wasn't just tall, he was like big. He looked like a linebacker, okay? And he was probably, if I had to guess, like maybe 6'2", 6'3". He was definitely more so what I imagined Alicia with, not Aaron. So when I saw him, I was like, okay, that makes more sense. That is what my girl needs. So he comes over to the table, he drops off the food, and he says hi and introduces himself to me, which is amazing. It's great when your man has some respect for your best friend, because we're the best friend. We were here before you, we might be here after you. I start grilling him, like legit, like an interview, because I had seen Alicia just go through a heartbreak. There was absolutely nothing that I could do to prevent that, because she and Aaron had met before she and I met. But trust and believe me, I'm about to have a say in what happens in this relationship right here, because I'm not trying to see my girl get hurt like that. So, you know, we had a little candid conversation. How many girls have you been with? What are their names? Do they all go here? How long were y'all together? What was your longest relationship? Why did y'all break up? Whose fault was it? Huh? Just really like Alicia, and she and I met and we hit it off, and like, I'm really into her. So there's Alicia, you know, just blushing or whatever, and I'm like, oh, for real? Well, what makes my girl different from the other girls that you were messing with? And he was like, everything. You know, he had nothing but good to say about my best friend. He was like, you know, she's smart, she's funny. He named all these great qualities about Alicia that I felt was really indicative of how he truly felt about her. Like, he really took an interest in her interest, and the fact that she was good at art, she was great at photography, she was funny, she was smart. Like, even though she didn't really let people know that she was smart, Alicia was really intelligent. She had great grades. He saw all of that about her, and he appreciated all of that about her. So in a nutshell, he passed my best friend interview, okay? And I did, y'all. I gave him my stamp of approval. Alicia and Damien start dating real heavy. From one day to the next, they were just like attached at the hip, and it was so weird, you guys, because like Damien would walk Alicia to some of our classes, and like, it was just weird to see her interacting with her boyfriend at school, because that was never a thing with Aaron. And y'all should have seen Aaron. Aaron looked so puny and little next to Damien, and he saw like Alicia and Damien in the hallways together, and I'd be like, yeah, like, look, see you over here messing up, and you thought she wasn't gonna be able to move on from your ugly ass, and she did. And like, look at this, and she's with the senior, and he's a great football player, and your lazy ass don't do nothing. So I was like, yeah, showing more PDA at school. Everybody knows that they're together, and they just look so cute together. I'm not even gonna lie, like, they just looked so ideal. I started having issues like at home, and there was still so much going on between Ariel and I, and my mom and I, and my stepdad and I, and it was just like a lot of drama, because there were a lot of different factors. But I remember at this time in my life, I started really bucking my mom. I started becoming rebellious. I stopped wanting to listen to my mom. I didn't want to listen to anybody's rules. I just really was having my teenage moment where like, I was not trying to listen to nobody. I was so over it. Everything that had been happening between Ariel and I was just becoming too much. My mom saw it, but there wasn't much that she could do about it. And I've mentioned this before, and it was because she was not Ariel's biological mother. So it's not that she didn't see the problem, she just couldn't fix it on her own because her husband was not standing with her to fix it, because he felt like Ariel's gonna do what she's gonna do anyway. Like, I'm not gonna sit up here and be fighting with this little girl. Like, just let her make the mistakes that she wants to make. And my mom was like, do you know how unbelievably dangerous that is? Like, we're not talking about making a mistake in school. We are talking about her having multiple boys in the house when we're not here, endangering both her and Nikki. She's like doing this and putting herself in these situations, y'all. It would be like a war zone when I would get home. And I remember, trust me, I remember, okay, y'all don't have to tell me. I remember school being so exhausting, and my parents not understanding just how exhausting it was. Like, they would be like, you don't even have a job right now. Like, all you have to do is go to school. And like, you're sitting up here telling me that you're tired. Yeah, because school takes so much out of you. Like, not just from an educational standpoint, but also like an emotional standpoint. You go through a lot at school, and you're trying to figure out who you are, and like, you're trying to avoid conflict, or you're in conflict, or you know, you got rumors going around. It's a lot to be going to school. And for me to go through that in high school, and I'm moving schools, and then to be coming home dealing with this mess, and it's like my mom and my stepdad fighting, or me and Ariel fighting, or Ariel and my mom fighting, y'all, I was over it. And I was like, you know what, like, I'm done listening to everybody else. Ariel's doing what she wants to do, you're doing what you want to do, my stepdad's doing what he wants to do, so I'm gonna do what I want to do. Like, I'm done getting in trouble for her and being put on lockdown because of her. And also, I'm not gonna lie, y'all, I wasn't taking care of my ish. Like, my grades were starting to slip, but I really was like just kind of falling into this like nothing matters type of thing, because it just seemed like it didn't. Like, it just seemed like my situation was not getting any better. It wasn't getting any easier, right? So it got to the point where I was like done, and I did not want to go home. I did not want to go home. I did not want to be fighting. I got to the point where I told my mom, if you have me in that house with Ariel, I'm going to beat the shit out of her. I am not kidding, because I forgot what Ariel did. But it was like, and it wasn't just like what Ariel did in that moment. It was like everything piled on top of each other. And I was just, y'all, I was just so tired of her. I was just so tired of her. And I did not want to live in the same house with her. I didn't want to see her face no more. Like, she just was the bane of my existence. So I dug my heels in, and I dug them in deep. And it was the very first time that I was looking at my mom, and I was like, I'm not going to listen. And y'all, we were going round and round. My mom and I were going round and round. It was the most distance that was ever between my mom and I. It started in this moment. I decided that I was going to leave home. It was very rare that I stayed with Alicia. There were times that I would go over to her house, and you know, her house was actually really cool. She had like a basement area, and I've talked about this before, where it's like a lower area, and it was like a living room and her bathroom all separated from upstairs. So she had so much privacy, you guys, and she had like her own space, and that's what I wanted that so bad. And I just wanted to experience what that was like without having parents up my ass, without having a little sister that like was just ridiculous and bad as hell. And so I told my mom, I'm not coming home. I don't want to live here anymore. And we fought. And my mom was like, I will report you as a runaway. I was like, oh, I'm not running away. You know exactly where I'm at. Like, do what you want to do. If you want to call the police and say I'm a runaway, you could do that. Like, I am so done. So I packed up my shit, and I decided to go and stay with Alicia and her dad. And her dad had known me for a few years at this point, and he knew my mom too. So her dad called my mom, and they had a conversation. He was like, you know, why don't we just give it a week and let Nikki cool off? She will be here with Alicia. I will watch out for them. If you have any questions, if you want to come by the house, whatever it is that you want to do, you can do that. But like, I just feel like if we send her back home, she's just gonna run away again. Like, she's just gonna take off. And I would have, y'all, I totally would have. I was like, yes, I will. Like, I don't want to go. My mom surprisingly worked out a deal with Alicia's dad and was like, okay, fine. My daughter will be there in your care. But let me tell you something. If anything happens to her, it's gonna be me and you all the way. And he was one of the very few people that was not afraid of my mom. He was like, I got you, don't worry. And he took responsibility of me, which I really, really appreciate. So I packed up a week's worth of clothes. I lived with Alicia and we had our own little space downstairs. Her dad was like really, really lenient. So he would fill up the fridge. And then he worked a lot. So he would be like, y'all need to do what y'all need to do. Make sure y'all get your homework done. Make sure your asses get to school on time. And like, I'll see y'all later. So we had the house to ourselves quite a bit. And at night he would come home so tired, and he was up on, you know, the 3rd floor, that he couldn't hear nothing that was going on with us, like straight up, okay? In addition to Alicia's area downstairs, there was also a basement. Her basement was finished and she had a couch down there and a big ass screen TV, and she had like the Wii down there. Of course, there were basement windows. Y'all know where this is going. Guy that I was talking to at the time could not come over, but Damien could, and Damien had a friend, and your girl was single, right? Alicia had been having Damien over, and she had so much freedom that she was able to have him in the house, and her dad didn't know, like nobody knew. Her dad had a girlfriend, but the girlfriend was like, she didn't really talk to us, and like she minded her own business, right? Y'all, we get all ready, all cute. You would have thought we were going to the club, but we were just gonna stay in the house. We do our hair and we got music on, and we're just like, y'all, Alicia was the sister that I wanted, okay? Alicia was that person that like, that's what I was looking for in a relationship with a sister. And like y'all, like just harmony, okay? Harmony. We get ready and we go down into the basement, obviously, because that's our spot. Fast forward and we hear a knock on the basement windows, and it was like the big windows, you know, the like where the window wells are. He came down through there. So even though he was a big dude, he could fit through the windows. They're like normal size windows down there. So he knocks on the window, and it's him and his friend just standing in the well. And I meet Chris for the first time, and he was aight. Like, he wasn't ugly. He was just aight. And he definitely was not somebody that I would have talked to on my own, I don't think. He's kind of shy, and like I just wasn't. So I feel like I was kind of like a little bit too much for him, you know what I'm saying? Immediately, the minute Damien came into the basement, him and Alicia were like all over each other, like all over each other, okay? And they were on the couch. They took up the whole couch. Me and freaking Chris were like trying to play Wii, and we're like bowling and stupid and like, you know, in the living room. And meanwhile, behind us, there's Damien and Alicia just like basically dry humping, okay? Like, I'm not even here to sugarcoat it. So like they're doing their thing, and it's kind of awkward between me and Chris, because I'm like, haha, that ain't about to be you. And we decided to watch a movie. I don't even remember what we were watching, don't ask. So we watched a movie, and at this time they had like a small coffee table down there, and we had the pizza and stuff on there, and Chris and I were sitting on the floor on pillows eating. Meanwhile, Alicia and Damien had the couch. I wasn't really interested in being on the couch after what I had seen and what they were doing and stuff. I was like, can you believe that? Or something like that. And I was talking to Alicia, and I looked back to like be like, do you believe it? Like, oh my God, did you see that coming? And I turn around and both of them are gone. Hello? Hello? And I see the door open that leads upstairs into Alicia's area. And I was like, okay. The boys did not end up leaving until like legit 3-4 o'clock in the morning. So that little get together happens. Fast forward to the next week of school. And at this point, I want to say that I had the agreement with my mom to come back home. I think I had like another week at the house with Alicia. So she and I were going to school together, right? I decided to be an office aide, and I forgot how many credits they were willing to give me for that. So that's what I was doing during my off period. And so I would work in the counseling office, and I was the one that, like, anytime a student needed to be called out of class for counseling services or to be picked up early from school from a parent, I would be the one to go to their class, and I would like get that student and walk them back to the office. Like, we did not do intercom-ish. And I really liked it because I could just like go and roam the hallways, and I had like this hall pass. So one day comes around, I'm doing my office 8-ish. I needed to go to the bathroom. So I take the hall pass again and I go to the bathroom. And on my way back, you know, I would lollygag. I would say, hey, what's up to my friends or whatever. And so I'm like in the main hallway of our school. Out of nowhere, I hear Nikki. And I like looked around and I see Damien upstairs, and like he's like looking down at me. And I was like, oh, hey, what's up? And he was like, hold on, I gotta tell you something. And I was like, all right. And he's like with 2 other friends. So I was like, all right, whatever. And he comes down the stairs. He's like on a whole other level of cool with me. Like, we were cool, don't get me wrong, but the way he was coming at me was like we had known each other for years. And he was like, hey, what's up? Dang, girl, like I feel like I haven't seen you in a good minute. And he like hugs me, right? And like he gives me this huge ass bear hug. And like Damien and I did not hug like that. We didn't hug. Like, there was no reason for us to be hugging. Like, he was always all up on my best friend the minute he was around. So this was new. This was weird. But, you know, whatever. He's my homie. He's my best friend's man. Like, no harm, no foul. So he hugs me. It's a little weird, but we're going to move on. I knew his friends, so I'm hugging him and like I'm saying, hey, what's up? And while I'm hugging him and I'm saying, hey, what's up to his other friends, I noticed that hug takes a good minute. And he's like really, really holding on. And like I said, this dude is huge. So when he wrapped his arms around me, y'all, like my head was like in his chest and like he was not letting go. And he finally let go. He did one of these. And like really just like allowed his hands to just kind of go across my body and like really got his feel on. Okay, y'all know that feeling when a dude is taking a long time to hug you and like their fingers and their hands were lingering. He did that. There was a shift and I immediately started looking at him sideways. And I was like, okay. And like I just kind of like, I was like, all right, well, it's good to see you too, dang. And so I tried to change the subject real fast because like maybe he's just having an off day. Maybe he's trying to show off for his boys. I don't know. But like I'm not about to be a part of this, right? Try to change the subject and I'm like, what are y'all doing? Y'all ain't got class? And so I forgot what they were saying. I don't even think I was paying attention. I was just so put off by Damien. There was something about my hair that was different that day. I don't know if I straightened it or what. But he kept mentioning my hair and he was like, dang girl, I didn't realize you have such pretty hair. You got that sex hair. And I was like, is that not weird for your best friend's man to tell you that you got sex hair and like you got that sex hair? Like, fuck out of here with that. He was like, hey, let me walk you back. I got something to talk to you about. And I was like, okay. I was like, well, what's it about? Wanted to know right then and there because like I'm not trying to put myself in a position that I don't need to be in. Like, you don't need to be walking me nowhere. So what is this about? And he was like, it's about Alicia. I was like, well, is everything all right? And he was like, yeah, everything's cool. He was like, I just want to talk to you. And the minute he mentions my best friend, I'm all ears. Like, you know, what's going on? He sends his friends away and they go off to the lunchroom or whatever to wait for him. And we start walking down the hallway together. I made sure there was a good space between us. Don't be getting too close. We take a few steps down the hall and then he reaches out and he grabs my arm and he was like, hey, like I really need to talk to you about this. And I was like, all right, what? And he stops me and we stop in front of like one of those trophy cases. My back is up against the trophy case and I'm looking at him and I was like, what? I was like, what? You're scaring me. I was like, what? Is it with Alicia? Like, what's going on? And he was like, yeah. He was like, it is with Alicia. He was like, look, he's like, I don't really know how to say this, but I don't want to miss the opportunity to say it. And I was like, okay. I was like, well, what? Like, spit it out. He was like, I'm really into Alicia. He was like, but he was like, you are so beautiful. If Alicia and I weren't talking, like, I would totally, hold the fuck. I didn't even let him finish. I was like, Damien, what the fuck are you trying to tell me? What are you saying to me right now? Get the hell out of my face with this shit. My back was like towards the case, like the trophy case was behind me and it wasn't like up against it, but I was really close to it and he's like a big guy. So I did. When he said that, pushed him, I was like, get the fuck out my face with that, man. I was like, how do you want me to take that? You want me to sit up here and be flattered because you think I'm pretty and whatever? You over here trying to, you know, spit your game when you know you're with my best friend. You're not even with like an acquaintance. You are with my best friend. I was like, what? Oh my God. You were totally like straight up arguing in the middle of the hallway. There ain't nobody else in the hallway because class is going on. And like, I'm being loud as fuck. He backed up and he was like, Nikki, I don't know why you're freaking out right now. Like, this ain't even need to be all that. Damien, shut up. I was like, I don't want you talking to me. Y'all, I started walking away. I started walking down the hallway towards the office. And like the whole time I'm walking away, I was like, don't talk to me. Don't fucking look at me. Like, I am not. I was like, and I will tell Alicia about this. And he was like, tell her what? And I was like, about what you just said. And he was like, I didn't say shit to you. And I was like, oh my God, Damien. I was like, you know what, whatever. I was like, there's something wrong with you. I was like, and you for real tried it, but I'm not that one. I am not that one. I was like, you got me all the way messed up, boy. So I storm off and I go back to the office, and y'all, I go in there and I am so upset and like I'm red in the face. And so like, the fact that he put me in that position to even like have to make the decision to tell my best friend or to not tell my best friend was what was infuriating me, because I never, ever wanted to be a part of my best friend's heartbreak, ever. I never wanted to be a part of this. So now what the hell do I do? Of course I gotta tell her. Of course I gotta tell her, because if I don't tell her, then I'm a part of a lie. But now I have to tell her something that is going to hurt her, and Alicia will be hurt either way. If I tell her, she's gonna be hurt. If I don't tell her and she finds out that I knew, or she finds out later, she's gonna be hurt. So like, and I can't sit up there with all good conscience and lie to my best friend. So like, the bell rings and I take off, like literally running, okay? And I know exactly where Alicia's last class of the day is. She is my best friend. And so I beeline it, and it's upstairs, and I'm literally taking those stairs 2 and 3 at a time trying to get to her. The people in the class aren't even done coming out. That is how early I got there. And I saw her that day. I know that she was there at school. Wait for the last person to come out. I'm like looking all in the classroom. She ain't there. And I'm like, oh my God, I need to talk to her right now. So I take off again, and I'm like, she's got to be at her locker. But Alicia was tall. You could see her from a mile away, and she was not in that hallway. Maybe if she's at the bus stop, maybe I'll catch her outside. So I walk out of the back of our school, and you know, of course, we're not taking the school buses, we're taking the RTD. So I have to like walk around part of our school to get to the RTD stop. I have my phone out, and I'm literally in the middle of texting her, and I hear, what the hell are you talking about? And I recognize that it's Alicia's voice. And she asked, what the hell are you talking about? I like look up, and she is in the front of the school, and she's leaning up against the school, and Damien is in front of her. And like, he's telling her something, and she looks upset. There was like bushes in between the sidewalk and the front of the school. When I tell you, I took off running, and I hopped over all of those bushes. I'm not even kidding. The minute I landed, Alicia looked over at me, and she was like, Nikki. And I was like, Alicia, where were you? And she's like, I've been trying to look for you. Like, I really need to talk to you. And like, I looked over at Damien like, not you. And so she looked at me, and she was like, that's funny, because I needed to talk to you too. She was like, but Damien said that he needed to tell me something really important. So she was like, I took off early from class. By this point, I was like walking up to them, and I'm like a few feet away from Damien. And I'm like, yeah, Damien, what you got to say? I was like, because if you don't want to say it, I will. And he was like, you don't have to say it. He was like, Alicia, he was like, I'm telling you, she's not your friend. Hold up. What? I ran into her out in the hallway earlier today, and she's gonna tell you a whole different story, but you either believe me or you believe her, okay? He was like, but I'm telling you right now, baby. And he starts like sweet talking to her, and he's like, she tried to tell me that she liked me, she had feelings for me, and you know, she gave me this big ass hug or whatever. I just don't feel comfortable with it, babe. Like, I just wanted you to know, you know, I don't want there to be no secrets between us, and I'm letting you know right now, she's not your friend. She was going to try to lie to you about me. But you know, I wouldn't lie to you, right? Like, you know that I've been upfront with you since day one. If this wasn't the truth, I wouldn't be telling you. Y'all, just talking a million miles a minute. I wasn't even trying to like talk over him. I let him talk. I'm like, really? 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 Okay. I'm going to let him finish with his fuckery. And she's like, so you're telling me that while I was in class, Nikki came to you and started hitting on you? And he was like, yes, she did. Like, I even had my boys. He brought up his friends. He was like, I can get them over here right now. They saw the whole thing go down. And I was like, what? And she was like, all right, let's do that. Let's do that. Get your friends over here. And he was like, all right, fine. So he gets on his phone and he starts texting. She looks over at me, and I was like, Alicia, you know that this ain't the truth. And she was like, I was like, just let me have a minute. And I'll tell you exactly what happened. And Damien was like, why? So you could lie to her? I was like, no, because you're too busy lying to her, asshole. I was like, don't talk to me. And like, literally, I was like, don't fucking talk. Like, sure enough, like 2 minutes later, his friends come out of the school, on the side of the school, right? They come out and they start looking around. They see us, they walk over. So before they even come over, here's Damien. Hey, y'all gotta tell my girl the truth about what happened earlier today. Y'all remember? So he starts basically telling them what happened before they could tell their side. Does that make sense? So he's like, y'all remember when we saw her out in the hallway? Y'all remember how she was like hugging up on me and stuff? And they were like, oh yeah, like y'all hugged or whatever. And he was like, nah, but she was like really hugging up on me. He was like, and then, you know, she started telling me about how sexy I looked or whatever. Like, I'm trying to tell my girl that this ain't her friend, and like she's trying to make it seem like I was hitting on her. I looked over at those guys and I was like, tell the truth. I was like, is that what happened? And they were like, well, like y'all did hug. And Alicia like looked at me and she's looking at me all weird like, y'all don't hug. Since when do y'all hug? And I was like, I don't know. I am just as confused as you are. I was like, I did see him out in the hallway while I was doing my job. I was like, and he told me to wait. He was upstairs. He came downstairs. When he saw me, he came in for a hug. I was like, and I didn't want to be rude to him because he is your boyfriend, Alicia. And she was like, yeah, but like, since when do y'all hug? Why are you hugging on my man? And I was like, Alicia, please, like, don't misunderstand. Don't sit up here and try to make it seem like I would do that to you. Like, this is me that you're talking to. I didn't know what else to do in that moment. That was my bad. He was getting touchy-feely with me. He was like, oh, so now I was getting touchy-feely with you? He was like, you wish, Nikki. He was like, you ain't that fine anyway. He was like, calm down. And I was like, oh my... Y'all, at that moment, I was losing my mind. I was like, Damien, stop fucking talking to me. Like, I'm not gonna tell you again. I am not talking to you, okay? Okay, you got your boys here? Okay. Like I said, I knew them. I knew them before I even knew Damien. And I was like, hold up. Would y'all care to share with Alicia what he said about my hair? Unprovoked. I was like, without me even asking. What did he say about my hair? They got real quiet and they just kept looking over at Damien, and Damien was like, you know, he's like looking at them like, y'all better not say nothing. And I was like, say it. Say what he said. What did he say? Since y'all want to be witnesses to shit. One of them finally, he was like, you did, Damien. He was like, I ain't even trying to like start no shit, man. But like, you did tell her that she had sex hair. What you got to say about that, Damien? Alicia looked over at Damien. She was like, you said what to my friend? I was like, he said... And like when I was trying to say something, Damien for real went like this and was like, I said, and I was like, get your fucking hand out my face. You're guilty. And this is how I know you're guilty, because you didn't even let her finish her class because you did not want her to talk to me to find out the truth. That was the whole conversation. Very inappropriate. Not to mention you asking them to leave so that you could talk to me in private. Ain't that right? And so I'm like looking at the both of them and they're like, well, I don't know, like, we weren't there for the conversation, but, like, I was like, but did he ask y'all to leave? And they were like, well, yeah, like, we just went to go hang out in the lunchroom until he came back. And I was like, exactly. And she was like, so you wanted to walk Nikki alone? I was like, yes, he did. And Alicia was like, Nikki, stop. And I was like, well, yeah, but I wanted to talk to her about you. And she goes, about what? And he was like, I was like, yeah, Damien, about what? And she looked at me and she was like, Nikki. And I was like, okay, you know what? I was like, I'm done being shushed. I'm gonna head home. I'm gonna go to the bus stop. I will meet you at home and we can have a discussion there where I am allowed to speak. Because right now I got both of y'all shushing me and I'm getting real pissed. And Damien was like, yeah, I think that's best that you should go. I said, again, for the final time before I pick up this damn rock and throw it in your fucking eye. I am not kidding with you. Stop talking to me. All right, girl, I'll see you at home. And I was like, all right, cool. Y'all, I walk away. I'm so heated. I walk away and there's my friend. And it was like the most unsettling feeling because you don't know how much power a guy has over your friend until something like this happens. And your friend is being put in the position to either believe you or believe him. I don't know how much work he's going to put on her as far as like feeding her a bunch of bullshit, and I don't know if I'm gonna have my best friend by the time she gets home. I have no idea. I get on the bus and I ride back to her house by myself. I get all the way there and I forgot that I don't have no key. I have no way to get into her house. So I have to sit outside on the porch and wait for her. And I waited about an hour and a half and finally I see her walking up the street. I don't know what to expect. I don't know if we're still gonna be friends. I don't know. I have no idea. So she walks up and she will not look me in the eye at all. And I'm like, Alicia. She like didn't even look at me. And she pulled out her key and she was like, Nikki, I just need a minute. Like, I don't want to talk about it right now. And I was like, oh my God. And so I got mad and I was like, dude, when am I going to be able to talk? And she was like, I can't right now. She was like, I'm just trying to process everything. I said, no, you're trying to process everything that he said. I was like, because you haven't even listened to me. And she was like, I just need a minute. And I was like, okay. So we go in the house and y'all, it was the most awkward thing that I had ever experienced with my best friend. It went from like us having the most harmonious, like perfect situation where we were basically living with each other and there was never a dull moment, to all of a sudden there being tension and we're not even speaking. And like, this isn't my house, you know, like without Alicia and I on speaking terms, I don't feel like I belong here, because that's really weird. She should be able to, you know, decompress and do whatever she wants to do in her own house. And if she's upset with me, well then I don't really feel like I have a place here. It's really weird because I felt like I didn't belong anywhere. I felt like I didn't belong at home because Ariel was there and my mom and I were fighting, and my stepdad and I were not on good terms because my mom and I were fighting about Ariel. So I definitely didn't belong there. And now me and my best friend are on the outs over some stupid shit, and I don't feel like I belong here anymore either. So I was giving up one bad situation to go back to another, you know? I think that she just assumed that I was obviously leaving because I was packing up my stuff. And before I left the room, I looked at her and I was like, hey, please tell your dad that I really appreciate him letting me stay here. Like, it was really helpful and I can't thank him enough. And she just looked at me and she was like, okay, I'll let him know. And there was nothing about her demeanor that was like malicious or, you know, gave off any vibe that she was pissed, but it just wasn't the same. It just was very weird. So I took off and I got on the RTD and I took 2 buses home, and my mom didn't even know that I was going to be coming home. And I went back to the house, and it was super weird. And my mom opened the door and she was like, oh, like you decided to actually be a part of the family. And like, you know, she starts talking stuff and I was like, Mommy, I just need a moment. And she was like, no, we gonna talk about how you're not going to be leaving this house anytime you want to or whatever. She was like, oh, now you got your room here. Now you feel like being a part of the family. I was like, Mommy, please. And she like saw my face and she was like, all right, but I'm gonna be in there in about a half hour and we're gonna talk. And I was like, okay, like fine. Needless to say, that was a terrible evening. I had to, you know, talk to my mom about a situation that I really was not trying to talk about. I was like on the fence with my best friend. I didn't know where we stood. And, you know, my mom and I had a whole different situation to talk through. And so it was just stressful and terrible. I know y'all are going to hate me for this, but I'm going to end this story here for a lot of different reasons. One, this video is already getting really long, and 2, my baby is up. I need to go be with him because he just woke up for a nap. I can't just leave him up there. But also there is a part 2 to this story where I will let you guys know what happened, what Alicia ultimately decided, and how that kind of affected things going forward and the end of our friendship. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know that you guys want the second part. There will be another part this weekend, okay? I'm not going to let you guys down with this. This is why I said there will be 2 story times this week. So don't worry. It's just going to be like a day or 2, and then you will get the next story time. So I love you guys so much. If you guys enjoy story time and enjoy this video, please don't forget to give me a huge thumbs up. Please don't give me a thumbs down just because these are in parts. Y'all got to really understand that, you know, I got time limits, okay? But I love you guys so much. If you're not subscribed to my channel, please make sure that you're doing so and hit that notification bell so that you're notified the minute part 2 goes live. Also, don't forget new Nikki Glamour merch dropping on Friday the 13th for your hoodie days. Your coin in check, girl, so that you can have your Nikki Glamour hoodies and beanies. I love you guys so much, and I will see you guys very soon in my next video. Peace out.